We just got through watching a bunch of us over on Facebook. We just got through watching the Green Party town hall. We're still streaming over there on YouTube, rather. We're still streaming on YouTube, and I want to get your input and your feedback. 857-600-0518. I will say that it felt more substantive, and I'll tell you why I say it like this. That it felt more substantive than it was more substantive than the Clinton debates, the mainstream debates. I'm just trying to get something off my screen here. So it was more substantive. However, I have greater expectations of people that I like and support. And it may not be fair. I'm harder on the people that I actually believe in than the people that I don't believe in, because I expect people that I don't believe in to just feed me a line of bull. So when I do have people that I believe in, I always expect more of them because I believe we should. So it was more substantive than any debate we've seen so far. And this was just a town hall, but it was far more substantive. But there were some gaps. There were some gaps in the answers, and occasionally, particularly when the conversation went to reparations, I felt like it was platitudes. I felt she was giving us what we wanted to hear, and then stopped at the same boilerplate answer that we get, which is let's form a committee to fix X, Y, and Z. Whenever we discuss forming a committee with it really means that's it. Right. We're going to form a committee to figure out how we're going to implement reparations. Well, that left a very big gaping hole. We need vision on how to actually implement it. We need you to come with the answers. Right. We need a committee to write the legislation and all the different nuances, but we need leadership to come with the answers. This is the way we want to do it. So that was one of the areas that I felt that it was kind of an empty answer. But she had some very good answers and far more substantive answers that we'll ever get on the CNN debates. I can tell you that much, and I think anyone who watched it can agree to that. One of the most ridiculous questions that came, two of the most ridiculous questions that came from the listening audience were questions from Hillary Clinton supporters. The first one was a black guy who was talking about reparations, and he said he was black, so we'll just take his word for it, talking about reparations and downplaying the possibility of it even happening, and loading the question down with the problem of the racial implications, right? The fact that, it may make other minorities jealous. That kind of ridiculous question is kind of fatuous, because that has nothing to do with the fact that there are reparations that are owed to African Americans, right? So that was a ridiculous question. And then the other ridiculous question was, will Jill Stein drop off the ballot in swing states to make sure Donald Trump doesn't get elected? I'm like, no. Okay, clearly that's a ridiculous question, because if she made it on the ballot, obviously she should run and have her name on the ballot. But I was glad to hear Jill Stein really put it very candidly. She said they're almost at 5%. And I'll tell you, one of the number one reasons I'm voting for Jill Stein, and the reason I even say it, because for the longest I was just going to keep it to myself. But one of the main reasons is we want to get them to 5%, because more choices is better for democracy than just two choices. She's not going to win, but we can definitely get her to 5%. And the reason I say it like that is because you have a group of people who are running around kind of delirious and disillusioned, thinking that they can find a way to help Jill Stein win. Jill Stein herself said tonight, we need to hit 5%. All right, 5% is far from the 51% that's necessary. Well, it's not, you know what I mean, the 270 electoral votes, et cetera, et cetera. But that the 5% mark, they get federal funding for the 2020 election, and they can actually do far more than they are able to do this year. So that's why I'm supporting, and I'm in a safe state. So it's a very easy decision for me. It's a very easy decision for me to say I'm voting for Jill Stein because I think we should have more choices. I'm hoping the same thing for the Libertarian Party because 4 parties is far better than 3. 3 will always lend itself back over to 2. Ultimately, 3 parties will devolve into 2, but 4 parties could potentially be sustained in our system. It will force our electoral college to have to be reformed, but particularly on the local levels, I mean, 4 parties is local and state levels. 4 parties are very sustainable. But Gary Johnson, I don't know if you saw any of Gary Johnson's town hall. I mean, he's a moron. I mean, legitimately, I'm not saying that just to be insulting to him, but the entire way he presents his ideas, and it was just hard to look at and hard to watch. It was refreshing to watch Jill Stein and Stein-Baraka discuss their policy platforms. So what did you think?